Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the I Will Aim Podcast. Our topic for today: a journey to better health, with my guest, Peter Banigo. Learn how Peter achieved his health transformation and what his turning point was in helping him transform his life. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you so much, Will, for having me on.
You're welcome. Looking forward to our conversation. Can you kindly start by introducing yourself?
Okay, so I'm Peter Banigo. And I've been starting businesses for a couple of years. I did a lot of that then, but I think for the past few years, all I've been doing is help businesses to do better with tech. And I think throughout the journey, I got to a point where health challenges were affecting being able to do these things I was able to do. So I think that's the
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the next question then. What's the biggest challenge you face physically and mentally or emotionally? And when you first committed to improving your health, what was your very first step?
Okay, so the biggest challenge I faced was mostly mentally. Mentally, because prior to when I started doing the whole health and weight loss journey, I had never done any sports in the past 30 something years of my life. So even when in school as a child, we had sports. I used to always hide. So I never thought I was that person that could go to the gym and lift weights or get on the treadmill and run. And then so getting over that was a problem first of all. And physically, I would say with being overweight for a long time, I had my ankles and co. They couldn't really do all the jumping and co because they always hurt. So I think that was the physical challenge. I think those were the main things: the physical and the emotional challenge. Then talking about the first step I made actually, I've done this journey a couple of times. I've tried different things. 2015, I tried doing one very restrictive diet. Obviously, it didn't work. It didn't work long term. But in this particular journey I'm taking right now, the first thing I did was to look for something I could do consistently, and that was doing 6,000 steps a day. So I committed to, in January 2023, I committed to doing 6,000 steps every day. And funny enough, it's 2 years and a couple of months now. I haven't missed a day. So I think that was where
Wow,
it all
that's
started.
impressive. So really, at the end of the day, it boils down to doing it and being consistent.
Yes,
So my
building
next
the
question is,
habits.
how do you approach to health your health improvement? What was your approach, and what daily habit? Like you said, you did 6,000 steps since 2023. You haven't stopped. What daily habit or mindset shift that made a difference for you?
Okay, there were so many things because okay, let's say one of the things I do now is intermittent fasting. Basically, when I look back before I started this journey, I used to get to my office by 6:30 in the morning. When I get to my office 6:30, I have to eat a heavy breakfast at least before 7. If not, I won't be able to function. Now I realized that that wasn't too healthy or too good. So now what I do is I wake up in the morning, maybe I have coffee without sugar or milk. Then by 10, I eat my first breakfast. And my first breakfast by 10 is always fruits. I don't eat anything heavy. So now the mindset shift I had to take was that before I thought I won't function if I don't eat before 7. Now I actually go to the gym in the morning, lift all the weights, do everything I have to do with an empty stomach, and then I eat fruits by 10. So it's just something if you had told me back then that I would be in the gym lifting weights without eating, I would have probably thought it was a dream or something else. So I think that's one really great mindset shift I had to accept to make this work for me.
Throughout your journey, are there any surprising lesson that you learned that helped you took the step in the right direction, or everything was methodically planned? You decide to shift your the way you eat breakfast and things like that. Is that methodical, or are there any lessons that you learn along the way?
Yes, I learned a lot of lessons because the first time, like I mentioned, I said I tried to do a very restrictive diet. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating things I liked. And I realized, yes, I lost a lot of weight in a couple of months doing that. But I realized I couldn't do it long term because I was drastically changing so many things about my life, so many things about what I ate and co all at once. So I learned from that mistake. This second time, okay, like I said, I eat fruits in the morning, but my second meal is actually what I had always been eating. So I can have rice, I can have noodles, I can have spaghetti, whatever I want in the afternoon. Then in the evening, maybe I have fruits again. So at least that's having that familiar theme within the day has helped me. So it's something I've been able to keep consistent over years because I'm not really. I've changed my diet. I've changed the way I eat, but I didn't drastically change it like the last time. So it's not really difficult for me. And apart from that too, this time, unlike the last time, so I did everything gradually. So in January, okay, before January actually 2023, I started walking a bit. Then I started the consistent parts in January 2023. Then by the end of February 2023, I joined the gym. So I didn't just start walking, join the gym and everything at the same time. I started walking when I was consistent at that. I joined the gym. After joining the gym, then I started the diet part, watching what I eat. So I think a lot of things I had to cut out. I no longer take soda. I no longer take most processed things. Most of my food is natural. It's as natural as possible. So those were a lot of things too that I had to change. So I think those were lessons I learned that take it bit by bit. Finish one part, then add another part, and it builds up into it would be very big habits. But you didn't have to really change so many things at the same time.
So essentially, what you're saying is it's a gradual approach. You do
Exactly.
something and add something on top of it. And
Exactly.
one of the lessons I heard from you is don't do something drastically and extreme that's not sustainable. Because, like you said, the diet that you had in the past was very restrictive and it wasn't sustainable. So I think it's the key message really is do something gradually, phase in approach, do more things over time, and then making sure you're not doing something drastic that's not sustainable.
Yes.
My next question for you is how has improving your health affect the other areas of your life?
I think first of all, I always tell people I'm in my late 30s now. I always tell people that I feel a lot younger now in my late 30s than I did in my late 20s or even mid 20s, and that's surprising. Apart from that, so I'm a lot more productive at work. In those days, I remember I used to go to the office almost all day, and I probably won't do much at the end of the day. But these days, I can get to work in maybe an hour or two. I've done what I would have done in a full day previously because I no longer have the brain fog I used to have and so many things. And apart from that, so I no longer have. I was reading something I wrote a couple of years ago where I was complaining about having foot pain because at a point I stopped wearing shoes because my feet always hurt for some reason or the other. And I realized in the last few years I haven't noticed any foot pain. I used to have lower back pain all the time. I used to have one of my knees hurt all the time. I haven't felt those things in a while, and it's just the quality. It's just greatly improved the quality of my life generally. Just that.
Wow, impressive. For someone listening to this particular episode who felt stuck and overwhelmed, where should they begin their journey? Based on what
I
you did.
think
As you said, you did it twice already. So definitely you have
yes,
like lessons learned from the prior one. Where does one
yes.
person begin if they're overwhelmed and feeling stuck?
I think the first thing will be pick something easy that you like. Like for me, I actually like walking, although I didn't like walking 6,000 steps. When I started walking 6,000 steps, I remember back then, if I walk like 5 or 10 minutes, I'll be out of breath and I'll be like, I'll probably go back and take my car and drive wherever I wanted to go to. But I actually liked walking. So, especially when I travel, go to a new city, I want to walk and see how everywhere is. So, I picked walking because it was something I actually liked because I could just put in a podcast or something in my ears and walk and just explore everywhere, see new places I won't have seen when I was driving. So pick something small, something simple that would help you with that health habit. For me, it was walking. It can be swimming. It can be anything for anybody else. Pick that. Be consistent at it. And when you're consistent at that thing you picked, then it's going to build confidence in you. I think it's the confidence that was built from that consistency that led me to start doing things I had never done in my life, like joining a gym. So that consistency is going to build the confidence in you. Then apart from that, to find a way to keep track, to keep accountability accountable. So, for instance, I have my Samsung Watch. It's linked to my Samsung Health app on my phone. I've had that throughout this journey. So every day I complete my 6,000 steps. I have the badge. The badge stores on the phone, so I can always look back and say, oh yeah, I scrolled down and I've never missed a day. So it gives me that encouragement to always keep up. Then I have the other leaderboard on there. Everybody who is doing the steps, I can see everybody up there. And I think most of the time I'm always at the top just because of the consistency. Some people maybe for a week or two they work more than me, but over time because of consistency I'm always at the top. So I think just pick one small thing you can be consistent at, keep track of it, find a way to, if you don't want to do the app, if you're more of a people person, then maybe find someone who is on the same journey that you can always be accountable to, that can always remind you of what you said you were going to do.
Hmm.
Keep doing what you said you were going to do, and that will just give you the confidence. Well, once you've built the initial confidence, you see yourself doing things you never knew you'd be able to do. I can say that from my experience.
So you mentioned about pick something simple, pick up something easy, and be consistent about it. And the last part that you mentioned was around tracking. I believe that if
Tracking,
you can
yes.
measure it, then you could actually track it, right? If you don't measure something, then you really can account for your progress. So the last part is extremely important. We did talk
Exactly.
about looking forward, right? With the advancement of technology and AI, how do you see the health and wellness space change? Like, how do you see your journey changing over the next decade or so?
I think okay, so for instance, with technology, like compared to, let's say compared to the first time 2015 when I started the journey, I didn't have the technology I used to track my health and co. It wasn't there. It didn't exist. Because like for instance on my watch I can track my blood pressure, I can track my heart rate, I can track my blood oxygen, my VO2 max, so many things, my sleep. These things were either very expensive or didn't exist
Hmm.
back in 2015 when I started. So now we have new things coming out. We have AI. AI can make sense of a lot of data that doesn't make sense. So I believe over time we need this new technology coming on and so and cool. I believe that we'll get to a point where it can take all this data from all the sensors on these things we're wearing, make sense of them, give us guides, tell us what we are doing wrong, tell us what we are doing right, tell us what we can do to get our results faster. I think that's what technology is going to do in the health space going forward.
So you're saying that we should take advantage of whatever technological advantage or opportunity that comes across and use it to enable us. Yeah, I really believe that's the future, right? I think it only gives us more accurate and relevant data that we could use, right? Just
Yeah.
beyond tracking. Like I've
Yes.
been using my iWatch for the past 4 years already. Absolutely. I look at how many steps I take and things like that, and the exercise is recorded. Yeah, I think it really helped motivate you to move forward. We talk about your
Exactly.
health journey. We talk about the mind shift change shifts that you had. We talk about the process in which you were able to achieve the goal that you had. If we have three takeaways from today's episode, what would those three takeaways that you want our audience to remember?
I think the first one is that your life, business, relationships, everything will be a lot better if you pay attention to your health. And that's the mistake I made in the first half of my life. I didn't care about my health. I think if I had known this back then, I would have probably been much better about watching about my health. So that's the first thing. Everything about you will be better when you take care of your health. The second takeaway is that consistency would always beat intensity. And I've learned this tracking the steps of everybody. I think I can, over the year, like I said, on the leaderboard, I'm always at the top because I'm consistent. There are some of my friends, my family, maybe they travel or they play golf or something, and then they're on the leaderboard for like a week, 2 weeks. But after that, it's always me because consistency, like I said, beats intensity. Try doing what you can manage every day consistently rather than waking up and trying to do everything in 2 days or 3 days and then you get tired or demotivated and you abandon it. So that's the second thing. And the third thing, I think, which has really surprised me in this health journey is that you're capable of more than what you think you are. And I think that's what doing these things, building the confidence, has shown me that some things I never knew I could do, some weights I never knew I could lift, some distances I never knew I could walk. I think I did 50,000, almost 51,000 steps in one day recently.
51?
This 51,000 steps in a day. I had a challenge. I think I was walking throughout the day and I didn't get really tired as I expected I would. So I think there are some things that you feel are impossible, but once you get started, you just realize we are more
Mm.
capable than we think we are. So I think those are the three things.
Well, thank you for sharing the three takeaways. If my audience wants to reach out to you, by the way, Peter happened to be a technologist too, just like me at 34 years in the technology industry. If people wants to reach out to you on technology or maybe seek your advice on your health journey, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
I think the best way for them to reach out to me would be go to my podcast website, techyourbusinesspodcast.com. If you go on there, you'll see a link to my LinkedIn, to my Instagram, to everything. So you can always DM me, ask if you want some tips, you want motivation, you want anything. I'm always very free with that advice. And I think one other thing, one reason I really like sharing these health journeys, I've seen most times people don't really think they can do things till they see other people do things. So just recently, one of my cousins decided to do the same thing I'm doing. He was weighing 112 kilos as at beginning of April. As at this week, he's weighing 105 point something. So that's
Wow.
he's lost like 6 point something kilos in just a month. He's
Yeah.
taking it more seriously than I did though. So, and I think I love seeing things like that, honestly. So I always reach out and I'll always share as much as I can.
Well, thank you, Peter, for your time. I really appreciate being my guest today. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Will.